wherever NFTs can help execute legal action. That is when things will start to get really interesting. I fully agree with that sentences. I think that's clearly the future of it, and this is what brings people closer to the blockchain and the crypto space, because this is tangible and they can see the real benefits from their self, right? So, Shirley, do you have any thought about that?
Well, yeah, we had a great conversation last week, very in-depth NFT special. Yeah, I think the technology as itself is here to stay. The price, I think right now we have like NFT bull market. This is depending entirely on the market, and it's a bit difficult to compare ERC 721s with ERC 1155s to ERC 20s. And the latter is fungible and can be copied and minted endlessly, while the former, the NFT, is unique. So I think this is exact uniqueness what drives the hype. But I really would like to hope it's not the criminal activities like money laundering that drives the NFT hype and the price is so high, like to millions of dollars. You have any thoughts on that, Delphine, as you're in compliance? I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, I know what you're coming from for that. I think there have been a couple of articles recently on this particular topic, and I do think that there should be some sort of controls. Especially know your customer and due diligence apply in the real artwork world, and I think it should also apply for some of those sales, right? Because I mean, like if you buy something for like millions, there should be some sort of check about who you are and where the money is coming from to make sure that there is no money laundering involved there. When you see like people saying something that they buy for 100K, then you say for 600K, I mean, like there is possibilities there. So you just need to have some sort of control, which at the moment there is not really.
Right now it's like Wild West. So.
Yes,
exactly. Well, the thing about NFTs, hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Thanks.
Hello, nice to see you here.
Once again. So,
Yay!
the thing about NFTs that they kind of lend themselves to the whole DeFi scene. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, but also there's a huge movement of like anonymous projects and stuff. So you're getting a little bit of spillover with that into the NFT area. Like I think I was just looking at a bunch of different artists yesterday that were creating these NFTs, and they're all anonymous, right? And some of them are selling their NFTs for ridiculous amounts of money. And I think in some cases, people actually kind of like it a little bit better because there's a little bit of mystery there, right? Kind of like, how like Banksy, nobody knows who he is. You kind of can have the same type of thing with the anonymity and NFT space because it lends itself so much to, Ethereum and the DeFi space. So there's kind of like a little underground movement with that going on as well. So I think you're going to have a little bit of everything, right? You're going to have the more commercial, people that are doing the NFTs like the NBA Top Shots. And I think the UFC was just said they're going to start doing NFTs. But then you're also going to have, the other side of the spectrum, which is, like the people that are like these anonymous artists that are making really cool stuff. And that's where you kind of get some of the bad players, right? But you also have good players,
Yeah, and also, it's always the same debate, where people are always thinking that criminals are using crypto to launder money and things like that. But it's not that easy to use crypto for money laundering, and I don't think like criminals are tech savvy enough to do it in a safe way, right? Because I mean, like, if you pay for in Bitcoin or Ethereum or any like traceable cryptocurrency to buy an artwork, you can see where it's coming from. And law enforcement agency, if they have some doubts, they can always, ask who is behind it, and there is a way to track down criminals. So I really don't think that, maybe not at this point of time, you need to give criminals a little bit time for them to get to understand how they can launder the money, but I really don't think that, they are really into that at the moment.
I'll be honest. I think, the whole narrative of money laundering and crypto, I think it's way overblown. I think that there's I think it's a tiny percentage of what goes
Yeah.
on in crypto. But obviously, you know, like it's the old saying, right? Like one bad actor can spoil the whole, you know, the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then people start getting a negative connotation around crypto, which is for the most part good. But yeah, there was like bad things, right, with like the Silk Road and
Yeah.
stuff like that back in the days. But I mean, we're in 2021 now. I mean, there's been so much innovation and so much development that, like, I feel like whenever I see like the government like make a big stance on, you know, we're stopping money laundering with crypto, I really like it. It doesn't sit well with me because, like, if you look at the statistics, it's just the tiniest portion of crypto that goes into that, and everything else is done for the most part, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Transparently.
I fully agree with you. You know, I've been delivering a lot of workshop on crypto money laundering and also sanction evasion using crypto. And generally, I start my speech by saying like it represents such a small percentage of the total of money that launders through the world that it's just like, you know, it's too much noise around something that is barely happening compared to what criminals are doing with cash. You know, it's just like, I mean, like it annoys me a little bit, you know, when I hear all those stuff. I just find things like people also doesn't understand the technology and what you can do with the technology compared to cash. Like there's no way of tracking anything with cash.
For
And
for
with
every,
crypto,
yeah.
it's transparent, right? It's just, you know.
Well, for every
Yeah,
money laundering case that you'll find, or every bad, you know, like illegal case you find with crypto, I bet you I could point out like 50 like unique cases where it's actually helped the world. So I don't even think there's even really a debate when it comes to that. But yeah, it's funny when that narrative gets brought up.
hi. This is good morning. This is Shantanu.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning. I'm in Silicon Valley. So it's morning here. But what I was saying is that you do hear this narrative from people who are very prominent, unfortunately, and you would think that they would know better. But I just wonder what the angle is. You know, prominent people like Janet Yellen or Elizabeth Warren or Warren Buffett, you know, come up with this narrative that they can be used for underhanded purposes, and you hear this again. But you know, the biggest retort to that is that, well, you know, what is frankly the most common use of that now is the U.S. dollar is used for all these purposes, can be used for all these purposes as well. And so it's not, it's really too, you know, I think a stretch to say, well, that's the only purpose of the cryptocurrencies is for sort of underhanded purposes. And I think the other point I would mention is that in all these, in crypto generally, I think there's been much more focus now on anti-money laundering, AML. And I think it's now, you know, if you try and open an account at any of these exchanges, it can take a week, 2 weeks. They ask for all your documents and you know, different procedures. So things have tightened up a lot too. So I think the industry has also reacted positively to this, that they also understand this could be a problem, and they have taken measures to their credit to tighten things up. So I think that's all helpful.
100% agree fully.
Thank you. We are in the meanwhile joined by our today's guest, Michelle. Welcome, Michelle. I understand you had some calls, so that took time from our stream. But do you have any comments on NFTs? Have you bought any NFT art piece, or what is your experience in NFT world?
Yeah, I actually haven't bought anything yet, but I have quite a few friends that are creators that are really jumping on the trend, which is wonderful to see. And it'll be interesting, I think, where it goes in the next 3 or 4 months with so much wide stream adoption and support from big names and celebrities and platforms really jumping in and empowering it. So I think it's a wonderful new use case for this technology and a way for mainstream adoption outside of the traditional P2P or payments avenue that we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. And we also recently discussed the shortcomings of social media. And here's something I'm not particularly amused about. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, in our recent news hailed the benefit of blockchain and crypto, whether by buying Bitcoin dips or selling his first tweet as an NFT, which currently, I just checked, bids at 2.5 million And yet his company, Twitter, continues to silence crypto accounts. Popular accounts such as the Crypto Dog, Boonomic, Karush AK, and 100 trillion USD had been suspended. Also, social media platforms broadly have often suspended or banned crypto-related accounts, sometimes for seemingly no clear reason at all. And for example, last month, CoinDesk's YouTube account was briefly suspended. While the account was restored within a day, CoinDesk still has no explanation for the suspension. So I would like to know, Delphine and Michelle, and also Shantanu and Kalani, what are your thoughts on this whole suspension and like
I,
different opposite signals?
I think that that's kind of the old guard. I think that as we move forward throughout this year, I think it's going to open up a lot more because they're either going to have to get with the times or get left behind. You're not going to be able to, as crypto and blockchain and everything just becomes a staple in the world, basically. You know, I mean, it's the hottest emerging market in the world. You know, if they're going to keep doing that, they're going to be doing themselves a huge disservice. So I don't think that maybe they had a rule set, like a bunch of them had rule sets, or they have certain things. I think most of the stuff that they're doing on Twitter is because they're trying to stop, like, because they do like these giveaways, right? Where like they'll like have people leave their addresses and then people get scammed. I think they're kind of just maybe trying to cut down on that, but like in the overarching like bigger picture of things, I really feel that all social media platforms are eventually going to adopt crypto and you know it's gonna you know take its place as something that's respected and not being censored all over the place. It's just gonna take time. You know, we got to remember we're only a 11-year industry or something like that. You know, so let us develop. I think towards the end of this year you'll see things opening up a lot more as well.
Delphine?
Yeah, but on my side, I find it very odd, especially for the Twitter thing, because, you know, I mean, like Dorsey, you know, he just tokenize his tweet as an NFT, and then, you know, all those crypto accounts are banned. It's just like, I don't know what is happening there. Is he scared of other influential crypto voice, or, you know, is there an ego problem over there? I don't know. I find it really odd because, I mean, like, how can you on one side, like, decide to tokenize your tweet as an NFT and the other way like block out crypto account. And then for YouTube, you know, when I read that on the news, I was like, what? Really? I mean, like, come on, CoinDesk is just like a news channel, right? On crypto, it's educational. I mean, they don't provide any financial advice. They don't incite investment in crypto. CoinDesk is clearly not a scam because, you know, I was thinking, you know, maybe Twitter or YouTube, they might be scared of possible law enforcement action if they publish some possible scan or help people promoting scans. But I mean, CoinDesk clearly not, and those crypto accounts on Twitter have been there for quite a while, and they're quite well known. So I was really surprised about that.
The challenge that exists is an industry that's moving faster than the counterparts on social media, while also trying to protect consumers. So the challenge of airdrops and promotions and things like that are really challenging. And I empathize because I've seen it having run handles for wallets and exchanges and things like that. You have people knocking off your handle and then reporting your handle, or reporting tweets, or bots that are literally out there just to report handles to then come out and do a scam or a phishing effort. So it's an instance of social media hasn't caught up with speed to scale and support strategically these challenges that are facing. The CoinDesk on YouTube is a total blunder and there's no reason for it, 100%. But some of these Twitter handles that got pulled down, it's frequently an instance of if they're promoting or if they're giving airdrops or things like that, because there's lack of consumer information. You look at enforcement agencies, like someone else said, coming in or being reported about giving financial advice. So it's empathetically a fine line while also navigating this new industry while mainstream consumers come in.
Yeah, I think you're hit the nail exactly on the head right there. And you know the thing is like the cause and the effect are so much like more drastic, right? Like so say for instance some guy, there's like some scammer that, you know, and the Twitter handle doesn't, you know, they unknowingly somebody like scammed and like copied their handle or something, and then their Twitter account gets banned. But the companies aren't taking into account the years that these influencers or these you know these thought leaders are taking to build up their account. Like you can't really put a price tag on how much time and effort they put into like building and nurturing their community and people that are following them, and then they just like lay the hammer and then just ban their accounts, you know. So
Totally.
I think that's it's pretty like brutal. I've seen some guys just like, I've been building this for 5 years and my account's gone, you know, like that's devastating, right? So
I know
yeah,
it's really
it's
hard to see. I'm the name of the handle is slipping my mind, unfortunately, but when I was running marketing at Uphold, we would have multiple fraudulent accounts where they would tweak the way that they name themselves and then, run things and block us so we couldn't see it. So it was this constant firefight against scamming. But I remember one of our influencer partners at the time had built this wonderful following and had really informative content and was one of the first to non-go coin specific. So it was industry wide. He was just driving mainstream adoption. And he got pulled one day, and it was because one of the coin specific communities had gone all in to report tweets, and it was this huge thing. And he actually never got his handle back. And the lesson learned from that was build your community outside of a specific. So even if you have a massive Twitter community or a YouTube or library or Coil or all of these other networks that are coming into place, always make sure that you own your community on some level on your own decentralized platform and not dependent on Twitter, YouTube, all these other ones. Because if they pull the plug, you're literally hitting refresh on zero. It's heartbreaking to see.
yeah, it's crazy. One of the on that note, like one of the things that we're doing at Velas that I've been we're building a social media platform, but one of the things that I've really been pushing for to the development team is so we basically have an app called BitOrbit coming out, and it's like people are going to be able to import their Telegram contacts and log in through their Telegram, and then basically there's going to be all these new features. And one of the things that I've just been hammering them about is I've been telling them, I'm like, guys, we need to be able to do something where people can verify themselves on Telegram. There's like 500 million people on Telegram, right? And Telegram is one of the most highly, what's it called? There's so much fraud on there, right? There's so many imposters. There's people doing fake accounts on Telegram all day long. And I'm just like, I can't believe that nobody has done this yet. But this is something that I'm really pushing for. Is I want people to be able, like, an influencer has a group on Telegram. I want them to be able to verify themselves through whichever platform they're using, so people can feel secure talking to that person, because there's people getting scammed on Telegram every single day. And I think that's somewhere where we're going to really try to address with Velas and our new platform. I'm pushing for it 100% to be able to verify yourself on Telegram. So
That's wonderful. I think that's a
yeah.
great idea. Can you set a feature where you can block X's?
Yeah, I'll push for that too.
That's one of my biggest things here on Clubhouse is you'll get that notification of the person that you just don't ever want to connect with again, and you're like, oh cool, no, I don't want to welcome them. Thank you.
That's pretty funny.
I think to look at that, the challenge, if we look at Twitter, to verify a Twitter account is this black box of unknown qualifiers, and then some people are suddenly verified, but there's no longer a process for businesses or influencers who are their own businesses or creators to get verified. It's just sort of, I haven't figured it out, and I've been spending years to try and figure out what the formula is for it. So I agree with you. The verification is paramount to mitigating some of this fraud that we see.
Yeah, definitely. Like we also have problems in Facebook. I mean, these are all centralized platforms, but they haven't come up with any problem solution for like a couple of years, because we get like every couple of days we get impersonators faking our account and trying to scam people by asking to send funds for them. So it's like We've been blocking them like every day for a couple of times with the whole team 24/7, and they don't disappear.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I don't even think that's real people. I think that's it's not even like anything. It's like someone just has a program running that's just set to do it to us every single day.
Yeah, this is how it's
crazy.
Looking like.
It's exhausting. It is literally exhausting.
Totally. No. By the way, we didn't manage to talk about you. I know you from the Women in Crypto panel, and back then you worked for Uphold, and now you have joined TaxBit, and maybe you want to tell us more about your activities.
Sure. So I've been in this space for quite a few years. Like you mentioned, I came into crypto via BitReserve that rebranded into Uphold and ran their marketing community for a number of years. And in about 2017, early 2018, met the team from TaxBit because Uphold was their first wallet provider, and had just watched them grow this industry leading product throughout the years. And when it came time to kind of make my next career move, I was so impressed with what TaxBit was doing. I joined their team, and we had a massive round of funding just get announced last week. Our Series A was record breaking. So that's why I was a few minutes late to this call, because it's just been a crazy busy 7 or 8 days, and we're not slowing down. So it's just been a really interesting journey in to see crypto evolving over the years and mainstream adoption, and really excited to see where we're at now with social networks becoming commoditized, and NFTs, and these new avenues for consumers, but also investors to come in and feel more comfortable with this amazing asset class.
And what problem is TaxBit solving, more precisely?
So, sure, TaxBit is a cryptocurrency tax software provider. So in the US, which is where we're offered now, if you have any event where you sell, buy, trade a cryptocurrency, it's a taxable event and you have to file that. But the onus that was tracking the cost basis, and it became incredibly complicated. So it's founded to essentially make that much easier, and consumers can just plug in all of their wallets and exchanges to their TaxBit account, and everything is tracked in real time. So they're then able to see their gains and loss opportunity and optimize those throughout the year. So at the end of the year, when you come to get ready to file your taxes, you're not surprised by what you possibly owe, or throughout the year, if there's an event where you want to sell an asset and you believe that you're making money, you actually know your tax liabilities. So it's net what you've actually gained. So it's helping drive more informed mainstream adoption, while also supporting enterprise partners like BlockFi, Uphold, PayPal, et cetera, where we're powering their tax forms issuance.
Seems like a very handy platform. Okay, thank you. And do you have any comments, anyone, or any questions? Maybe someone wants to ask questions.
Can you do my taxes for me?
I cannot.
Looking forward to that.
But I can definitely hook you up with a discount code, and TaxBit will do it for you.
Okay, cool.
You don't want
me
doing your taxes, but the software, yes.
Yeah, I'll send you a ping on Twitter.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. So as our co-host Delphine is specialized in compliance, then we have our weekly dose of some compliance news. Delphine, you would like to cover?
Sure, let's do it. So, there has been a couple of news this week. One of the main ones is that we saw the US lawmaker will introduce bill to clarify crypto regulation, and this proposed bill will create a working group to evaluate US cryptocurrency regulation with input from the SEC and the CFTC. So that's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen there. Then more like fancy news, we've seen the payment platform Wirex announced Tuesday the launch of its multi-currency MasterCard debit card in the UK and in the European Economic Area. And the card will support 18 crypto and traditional currencies. I'm actually tempting to try that one just to see how that works.
Yeah, me too. This is super cool.
Yeah, I need to register, and one of my friends is working there, so I need to tell him, like, can you put me up the list, please? And then we saw like another one that was, I think this one was today. No rewarding citizens for using licensed money senders, not crypto. So, but so you know, I mean, you guys may have follow up on that. Like, Nigeria wanted to buy crypto, and now they are trying, to incentivize their citizens to use licensed money senders. So it's called the NIRA $4 scheme, and it's a bid to funnel remittance through official channels. So kind of like, trying, they want to push citizens out of the crypto scene, it looks like. But, on the other hand, like peer-to-peer Bitcoin remains very popular in Nigeria. So let's see how that's going to work.
It's very interesting weekly to read about news of Nigeria's trials of banning cryptocurrencies, but they seem to fail, and they're trying it with different ways, and it's kind of funny.
Well, this one is quite a good one. They're trying to
pay,
reward, right?
Yeah.
Pay the citizen, use the official channel, please, right? I don't think it's enough money, compared to what you can do with crypto, but let's see how that goes. And maybe next week they try something else, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
We should stay on top of that.
We definitely will.
My guys, I'm just here with my weekly predictions.
Great.
I'm gonna say Bitcoin, we're looking at about 288,000 this year. Mark it down on your calendars.
What was it last time?
Yeah, what was it last time?
I think it was 250, but I'm bumping it up about 30,000.
I thought you were saying million. I thought we were talking about million last
Well,
week.
we will do it. No, that's the next bull run. Right now, we're going to 288,000. That's all I have.
For when? Which
September 26th.
What is the date?
September 26th, the peak. Peak of the market. Things have taken off.
Michelle, what is your price prediction on Bitcoin?
I want to dip so I can realize some losses and buy more.
Absolutely.
Right? Let's go down a little bit.
And then just to touch on the
buyback.
just to touch on the YouTube thing too, because we know, because we do a lot of YouTube videos, and we actually got shadow banned a little bit too, just from saying certain words on YouTube. So you got to be like real touchy with what you say, and I don't know if they're still doing that as much, but yeah, it's just kind of like
what did you say? I'm curious. What did you say?
In the videos?
You guys say some pretty
yeah, I mean, we say a lot of stuff. So I mean, they're probably right for banning us a few times, but it does happen. It's almost like algorithms, right? Like if you just say certain things, you want to avoid certain words, and it's probably the same thing with Twitter too. Like if you post a certain something, it might just automatically kind of ban your account. So they might not even really be looking at it. I mean, you got to think how much goes on with Twitter around the world, right? Crypto's actually pretty tiny little aspect of it. Yeah, so it could just be triggering something, like some type of algorithm that's shutting people down, and then they just probably take a long time to get around to even like researching what's going on. So it could be that too.
Yeah.
But Michelle, what is your long-term price prediction?
Oh gosh. I'm going to go more conservative and say probably around 100 by end of year. But that's baking in my hope for a dip so we can sell and buy more.
That's it. Yeah, short term.
Pretty conservative. Yeah.
Short term 100,000, long term infinity.
That's what also Goldman Sachs survey resulted. Like the 20% of respondents in the survey expect Bitcoin to trade above 100,000 within the next 12 months. So
yeah, well, I think the one thing about Bitcoin though, it always surprises people. It'll always go up a lot more than people think, and it'll dip a lot harder than people think too. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'm shooting for 300,000.
You just said 288. Now you're 300,000.
I just looked at the chart. I just looked at the chart and we went up like $5. So I'm going up to 300,000. Mark it down.
You, sir, are
Okay.
a permable.
All right. Do we have any other news, Delphine, you wanted to cover?
Yes, there was like two more. So yeah, I guess you guys have seen like JP Morgan Chase is launching a new product, a basket of listed company with exposure in crypto. I think it's a great development from a bank that just a few months ago claimed we will not see Bitcoin over 40,000 ever again, and now they are launching, a new product. So I find it quite funny and interesting that they are doing that. But
Yeah, it's another example of a financial institution being wrong or admitting they're wrong about Bitcoin.
I love it. I love it. And every week we have things like that. I'm like, haha, you see, we were right, you were wrong. And then the last one that just came up today is like the South Korean Financial Service Commission just said that it will issue financial penalties to exchanges that failed to follow rules designed to curb illicit cryptocurrency. So it's rules around transparency and rules around know your customer. So they are ready to fine exchanges now on that topic. So let's see how's that going to work and how they're going to try to do that.
Yeah, I guess it comes down again to the size of the penalty. If
it's not too big. It's only between
enough.
It's between 20,000 K and 80,000 K. So I think it's not too expensive. Doesn't for an exchange, if you look at an exchange like Binance, we'll probably say, put 20K, that's okay.
Definitely, exactly. This is what we've seen also in some of the exchanges, past behavior.
Yeah, and this is also what you see in traditional finance, right? I mean, like banks,
Yeah.
they probably have in their budget something called risk for breaking the rules, right? And they probably have a nice honeypot there that they can just pay when something happens, right?
Yeah, true. All right. Well, I guess that's it with the news from last week and from the beginning of this week. Does anyone want to weigh in?
Hey, so one thing that I just wanted to touch on for anybody that wants to join us next week. So we have two protocols that are building on top of Velas, and I'm going to get them together in here, and they're going to do kind of like a mixer where they talk about like decentralized finance and kind of the stuff that they're trying to do. And they're two really, really cool projects. It's Simblocks.io and Cook.finance. Cook is actually, they just did an announcement that they're going to build some of their cross-chain asset management platform on top of Velas. And they also have, sorry, 1 second, I'm driving, my seatbelt little ringer is going off. They also have like partnerships with like DuckDAO, and they have like, I think OKX is investing in them. So we're really excited they're on our blockchain. So if anybody wants to join next week, it's going to be a little bit, we're going to have some extra guests on the show, and they're going to be from the project side. So it'll be kind of cool to kind of dive into what they're doing and ask them questions and learn a little bit about what they're doing.
Are we doing it at the same time as always?
Yeah, I think we should have.
Michelle, do you want to maybe promote your company, or maybe you're looking for talent, or?
Yeah, we're hiring across the organization, especially off that fundraise. So if you go to taxbit.com/careers, a few of the jobs are up. And then also anyone can ping me on Twitter to connect. And then for those in the US, file your taxes. And if you want a discount code, just DM me and I'll get you one.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely hit you up about that. One last thing that I wanted to talk about is we're actually record all of these now moving forward. So anybody, if anybody wanted to, re-listen to it, or if you came in late or missed anything, just we're gonna have a recording of this posted on the Velas YouTube channel, so everyone can kind of catch up if they want to.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Delphine, Michelle, Kalani, and Tawi. This is it for today.
Great,
And-
thank you so much, Sherry. Looking for next week since we're
Yes.
going to have some exciting stuff going on next week. I like that.
And Michael, in our audience, for a bigger selection of news, you can visit velas.com/digest. And you can tune in every day, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. CET. We're not on every day yet.
Thank you.
So
Bye, everybody.
Thank you a lot.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.